My name is Catherine Perry, company member of Simpatico Theater Project and dramaturg for the upcoming production of A Bright New Boise. I recently sat down with Boise's director, Jill Harrison, and playwright, Samuel D. Hunter, for a conversation about the play and Sam's inspiration. The following is a clip from our interview. Can you talk a little bit about the origins of Bright New Boise? How did the play take shape?
Sure, yeah, well, the jumping off, I mean, I guess, I can talk about the writing of it and then, like, how it's had the life it's had, but I grew up in Idaho. I didn't grow up in Boise, I grew up in northern Idaho, which is a good, 8-hour drive, I guess, from Boise, but close to where the main character says he's from in the play. And I went to a fundamentalist Christian high school, and I've always just been, endlessly fascinated by this sort of the turn that American Christianity has made in the last kind of 50 to 70 years. And it's something that's that especially in the theater, I think is not talked about very much, and I think kind of misunderstood. I think that there's a tendency for urban people who go to the, populate most of our audiences across the country. I think there's a tendency for them to say, just keep Christians in fundamentalist Christians at arm's length and call them crazy, but I think there's actually a deeper level of understanding that sort of we need to have nowadays, especially now that it's become so divided and now that Christianity has made its way into politics. So there's that, and I write about religion frequently for that reason, but this play specifically was, the jumping off point was The Rapture. Even though, the fundamentalist Christian school I went to, they didn't talk much about that. They believed in it, but it wasn't central to them. But I mean, there's just something so fascinating about people who the sort of most hopeful thing in their lives is the world coming to an end. The world coming to an end. It's fascinating, but and at first glance, it's very confusing. But then, when you realize that, the main character in this play working at a minimum wage corporate job, living out of his car, if I was in that situation, I would very fervently believe, or cling to the belief that God was going to come and deliver me and lift me up and, pave everything over with gold and, the New Jerusalem and everything. So I guess the play is sort of an attempt to ask or invite the audience to accept a main character who has these beliefs and be able to go along with his story. And I think that's why the central conflict in the story, the central tension story, is not about religion. It's just a very human thing of a father trying to reconnect with a son, which is hopefully a human story that anybody can sort of get on board with. And then what complicates that journey is the way that his religious beliefs interact, with him just trying to live his life. So that's sort of how I came to write the play. I also worked at Walmart in high school, and I think that break rooms are so interesting. They're kind of this weird forum romanum in these places where everybody converges, but nobody's there for very long, and
limbo.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is like limbo.
Yeah.
It's just a really interesting place that's a corner of a superstore that nobody ever gets to see. And there was a TV in the break room of the Walmart I worked in that would play Walmart TV.
Wow.
And my memory of it, maybe I've, that was a long time ago, I was 17 years old, but I remember two guys, just kind of this poorly filmed two guys talking about products and stuff, and nobody ever really watched it, but it was just kind of there. And so that's how that made its way into the play. As far as the creation of the play, I was telling Jill earlier, it was actually a really strange process. What happened is a theater company that I'm a member of called Partial Comfort in New York. They approached me and they were like, look, we don't have a play for our season. They were interested in another play of mine, but a different theater company ended up producing it. So they were like, I know this is crazy because we go into rehearsal in 3.5, 4 months, but do you want to write us a play? And I didn't even have the idea for the play yet. So, and then I approached the director, the guy who directed it, Davis McCallum, who's now directing my play The Whale at Playwrights Horizons. I approached him to do it without even an idea of what the play was, and he said yes. And so I spent a month and a half just writing a first draft, and then throughout the rehearsals there was, I mean, the first few weeks there was 20 new pages every day. I mean, it was a really, like, I mean, because I needed it, and the development was so quick, but there was just something, it was one of those rare experiences where, like, everybody was so talented and on board and just so driven, and like nobody was getting any money. You know what I mean? Like everybody's getting like that much money.
Right.
So it was just a labor of love for everybody.
Thank you so much for watching this excerpt of my interview with Jill Harrison and Sam Hunter. A Bright New Boise runs at the Walnut Street Theater, Independent Studio 3, from October 3rd to October 21st. For more information about the show and Simpatico Theater Project, visit our website at www.simpaticotheater.org. And be sure to check out our blog for other insider information about the production. Welcome to Boise!